Hello everyone, this is the developer's introduction to the source available release of justdo.com. Justdo.com is a project management platform. What I intend to do in this video is to walk you through the steps of obtaining and running JustDo locally and show you how easy it is to modify JustDo for your particular needs by implementing together with you a feature request received by a client that is going to be part of the next release. So in order to obtain the code of JustDo, just click on the check us on GitHub. Please subscribe, please star us, add a star, and go to the getting started section. There are some prerequisites, please follow them, and then clone. When you clone, please remember to put that minus recursive because JustDo has few submodules, not that many, but few submodules that needs to be cloned as well. So this is necessary. And once that is done, just call ./justdo run. So this is my copy that I cloned from GitHub. And you can see that once you will call ./justdo run for the first time, this is the second time that this is running, but once you will run it for the first time, this file config.bash will be created by copying the default config to the config.bash automatically for you. You can take a look into the config.bash to see various settings that you can modify. And now that the system is running, you can go to localhost 3000. That will redirect you to the registration. You will register for the first time. And once you register, you will see a view very similar to what I'm seeing here, only that here I created the first demonstration JustDo. We call the board in its entirety a JustDo, and each JustDo, as you can see here on the left, has a task. This JustDo is for the management, is demonstrating how an animal shelter could be managed with JustDo. You can see that the tasks are broken into a hierarchy. The hierarchy has no real limit to how deep it can go. And tasks are serving both as tasks, and they can also serve as like departments or sub-projects and so on. We can set tasks to be an actual project. So for example, I can say that, let's say in the volunteer, recruit and train volunteers, this is a project. So I can set this as a project. Once something is set as a project, we can use it in various ways. So for example, a plugin like the project dashboard would show you details about the running projects. So right now we have only one project, and under it we have only one pending task. So if I would change that from pending to in progress, then you can see that the project dashboard is updating. Everything in JustDo is reactive, meaning that if, for example, another user had been invited to this JustDo, as every change that one user is making, others will see on the fly. Okay, so if I change this one from in progress to be done, so you can see that it's automatically updated. There are no refreshes, nothing like that. Now, what I want to demonstrate is a feature request received by a client of JustDo. As you can see in JustDo, there are various fields. You see we have note, state. These are the default view fields. There are more fields that you can add here in the more info section. You can just click and they would be added to the grid. And of course, they could also be added from here. Fields has different types. So for example, this is select, this is date, this is text, okay? And of course you can add also custom fields, okay? So you can add more fields to the system. We have all kind of types that you can choose from, but this is not the subject of this video. I'll just go through to the actual request. So you can see that each one of the types has a filter. So for example, I could filter to see only done tasks, okay? And furthermore, I just want to note that I can also save the view. Like for example, let's say that this is how I like to see JustDo, or I would say it in different words. Maybe sometimes this is the kind of query that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the tasks that are done, and I want to know only what is the subject and the notes that have been written about them. I could save that as a view, okay? Done tasks. And later on, I could, if for example, this won't be here, okay, let's add again other fields, okay? So let's say that this is like another view, okay? Let's call this one view 2, okay? So now I could toggle between those two views, and you can see that filters that been set are saved as part of the view, and I can jump to view 2, and that's about that. By the way, there are other ways to see justdo as tabs, but that's for another video. I won't go into these details right now. Now, the request, it goes as follows. That client uses the due date extensively for management of invoices, okay? And what I've been asked was, is it possible to not filter by what's past due or what's due today or so on, but I want to see the tasks that doesn't have a due date, okay? So I will be able to clearly see what's need to be filled, okay, with a due date. And right now we don't have this capability, but I'm going to show you how in a matter of seconds you could modify justdo to add that feature. And not only that, that feature will be part of the next release of justdo that will come right after this video. So in order to come up with the feature, I'm using Cursor AI. Cursor AI is a project that allows you to use AI in order to run prompts on your entire code base. What I did here was to load the community edition, the source available edition of justdo. When you're prompting, all you have to do in order to prompt the entire code base is add code base and then ask it what you want to do. So for example, what I wrote here, and you can see that I use a very shallow prompt. I didn't try hard. This is something that even someone that is not familiar with the intricate details of how justdo terminology works would be able to come up with. So I just wrote, for the date filter, we want to allow selecting fields with no dates, okay? And it came up with the following. And what it basically suggested is that in this file, okay, right here, that there would be an ability in the API, okay, to have another type of option. And that option is this one. So for example, instead of being able to set relative range, null means infinity. Okay, so if we see something like, for example, last 7 days, so it means starting from yesterday, so -1 is yesterday, and -7 days before. Today is 0, 0, okay, and tomorrow is starting tomorrow and ending tomorrow, so is 1, 1, and here is an example for yesterday, and so on. So what the AI suggested here is that we'll extend the API to include relative range null as strings. I didn't like this solution so much, but I'll just keep going with what been the result from the prompt. And then it suggested also how exactly to edit to the code, the support of it. And you can see that this is here. Now, if I wanted to take these changes, all I had to do was to click on apply to the relevant file, and same for here, I apply for the relevant file. The thing is that I didn't really like the implementation so much, so I kept going, and I said, I told the AI that I find the use of null as a string instead of null not intuitive in the long run, and I explained why. You can pause and read my reasoning here. It went on to suggest a different approach where it adds a new field called isEmpty, okay? And then here is the use of that field is empty. I didn't even try it yet. Okay, let's try it right now together. So let's apply this one. Okay, so instead of the, okay, let's accept this one. And let's also apply that one. Okay, so this is what changed. Okay, so if filter option is empty, then we push to the range queries, the exists false. Okay, and then it keeps going. Let's try it out. Okay, so I save it. Okay, just very small change. In the console you can see that it's been modified and it's refreshing. And here you can see that it's not showing yet. But the reason that it's not showing yet, if you pay attention to the code that got generated, is that the feature been added to the framework of the date filter, but wasn't added to the particular settings of the different fields. So for example, the due date and so on. So let's say, can you right, so now this is the area for the due date, and over here we will apply it. Okay, and accept, save, and that should be it. All right, so following the save, we see the refreshing again in the console, and in Chrome, now that it refreshed in the due date, here is our no date, but let's test it. So let me expand this. Let's see the tasks that don't have a due date. Okay, and we'll filter for the no date tasks, and indeed we remain only with the tasks that has no date as intended. And if I wanted to see stuff without date or past due, so here is an example of that. Also those that are due today, and so on. So that's pretty much it. Now, you know, from my perspective, the no date, this isn't the best place for it. I would put it after all the stuff that has date, so we can make that quick change. So just move this to be here, and that's pretty much it. I hope that this is a convincing demonstration of how easy it is to modify JustDo. And I'm looking forward for any question you might have, and let me know what you think.